Here's something that's very important to me. This is the last souvenir I have of my childhood, other than some old worn out black and white family photographs. My parents had the philosophy that when something is no longer useful, you might as well get rid of it. So my mother was very generous at handing over my toys and books and clothes as I grew out of them. She would pass them on to other kids who were probably very appreciative. But this book fits into a whole different category. To her credit, my mother valued this highly. This is a record of all my achievements in the decade I spent at school. It contains all the school class photographs and school reports and other memorabilia for my entire schooling career. The most important page in it, from my perspective, is the first page. Page 1 contains 5 insignificant looking squares of faded green cardboard with some writing on them. The writing, though, indicates that these are sports trophies from a sports day when I was 5 years old. It appears I came third in the duck walk event, and we know how competitive that can be. I've also got second for running, second for sparrows, whatever that is, second for wooden soldiers. I'm sort of imagining what that is, but I can't actually remember. But pride of place, at the top of the page, in the middle of the top of page 1, I have a first prize for bunny hops. I can't remember competing in any of these events, but it seems I was pretty good at it. I would imagine my mother took a huge amount of pride when she opened this book for the first time, nice and fresh and new, and pasted those 5 trophies on page 1. First prize for bunny hops at the top of page 1. She must have envisioned that that was going to be the start of a hugely successful career. Little did my mother imagine that that first prize would be the only time that I got first for anything in my entire life. Not just school, ever. This is the only first prize I've ever achieved. This is the only time I've ever won anything. The basic thrust of my education for the entire time that I was at school was a philosophy that said, do your best. No one ever said, do the best in the class. No one ever encouraged me to be competitive. I don't know whether it was a philosophy of the education system at the time or whether it was just a lack of resources, but it seemed to me that kids who were struggling in class got extra help to get them up to standard. Kids who were excelling in the class got extra help to push them to their fullest potential. But for most of us who were just average students, we were just left alone to do our own thing. If we did our best, that meant we passed, and that's all we needed to do. So I managed to go all the way through the education system with average grades, just enough to get me through, 52%, 53%. That's all that was required, that's all that was needed, that's all that I did. Encourage your kids to excel. Encourage them to be competitive. Competitiveness encourages excellence. Do your best is fine, but see if you can make your best a personal best every time. Make it better every time. Otherwise, you're just encouraging mediocrity. It would seem that when I was 5 years old, I had hit my peak. That was the highest achievement I was ever going to get. I'm proud of my first place in bunny hops. and don't think you can dismiss it easily. You ask any 5-year-old, they'll tell you just how tough bunny hops can be.